The Hands. I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen. Recounting a true event, other houses on her street had strange things going on too. A few homes away from her lived a family. One night the daughter went to bed with a bad headache. The next day she was dead. She had passed away from a brain aneurysm at a young age. After her funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle, my mom's brother, to check on their pets. My mom and dad, who were dating at the time, went with him. My mother had heard there was a grand piano and she wanted to play it. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush her ankles. She thought a cat must have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing, and then she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her legs tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called my uncle and father, and waited for them. Back outside, my uncle could tell my mom was rattled and asked her what was wrong. She told him what had happened, and he turned ghostly white. He told her the daughter who had died used to play a game with her father. When he played the piano, she'd crawl underneath, grab his ankles, and push his feet up and down on the pedals. Creepy couple. I grew up in upstate New York, and my childhood home was on a country road with little to no traffic. One time when I was in my backyard playing with my dog, his ears suddenly perked up and his entire body stiffened. I watched as he trotted around the side of the house. I thought he heard my dad come home, but it was clear that my dad's car was not there. I tried to walk around him so I could see a different angle to the street, but he quickly shifted to block me from stepping past him. It wasn't typical behavior of him, and I immediately felt like something was off. Then, his head whipped towards the driveway, and he started down the street. When I followed his gaze, I saw what looked like a woman with a shawl blowing behind her. She ran down the street, passing our driveway. There were no distinguishing features. Her figure was just blackish gray, almost like a three-dimensional shadow. A few seconds later, another figure appeared behind her, chasing after her. He was taller and he was wearing a top hat. They passed the opening of our driveway within seconds, and I lost visibility of them because the other side of our driveway was covered with dense, tall pine trees. They never came out on the other side of the trees. They just disappeared, and my dog's body relaxed after they left. Mom. My mom passed away in early November of 2005. I had gotten married at the end of May that year, and she waited to tell the family that she was sick until the end of June. She didn't want to take away from the joy of the baby of the family getting married. It was way too fast, and none of us were ready to let her go. She always said she wanted to go at home, no hospital or hospice. Said it for years, especially after my dad passed when I was 16. He passed at home, surrounded by all of us until the end. That was what she wanted too. In the house he built with his bare hands, and the house they raised the family in. So that's what we did. Basically, her 6 children moved back home and stayed with her for the final 2 months. We took shifts to see our husbands' wives work during that time. But at any given point, there were 4 of us there 24 hours a day, making sure she was surrounded by love and never alone. Now, I didn't take her death very well. I did everything that needed to be done and kept myself together. We were close, and this was so fast, and I didn't want to believe it. I can't tell you the number of times I caught myself calling her to then just stare at the phone mid-dial and realize she wouldn't pick up. Well, a month after she had passed, I was alone at my own home watching TV. It was only about 7 p.m., so dark at that time of year in New England, when movement caught my eye. 12 feet from me, my mom walked through my kitchen, stirring something in a bowl. She paused in the doorway, gave a little wave with her fingers from the hand wrapped around the bowl, as her head tilted with a smile and moved past the doorway. I was frozen to where I was sitting, so I called out, "Mom?" and heard her laugh, her healthy laugh. from before she got sick and couldn't smile anymore, let alone laugh. I went to the kitchen, but there was nothing. I swear on my life that it was real. She was there. This is, my mom was a great baker. She passed a lot of her recipes on to me, while not as often as I would have liked, we baked together. It was time that made both of us happy, and we laughed, chatted, gossiped, and drank tea while we waited for some delicious concoction to come from the oven. To this day, whenever I make her cheesecake, cookies, cream puffs, or meringues, I'm happy. I dance around the kitchen and stir the bowl. I think of her and the time she visited me. She has only visited me in my dreams since, always to warn me or help me with the problem I'm having. I like to think that she was able to muster the energy to come see me in person just this once, so that I knew that she was okay. I didn't have to be sad, and that she would always be there. I love you, Mom.